We often think of the YouTube thumbnail as a label, a simple wrapper for the content inside. But the data tells a different story. In the current attention economy, the thumbnail isn't just a label. It is the single biggest factor in whether a video lives or dies. The best content in the world remains invisible if the click never happens. We need to stop looking at thumbnails as art and start looking at them as visual engineering. It is a discipline where algorithmic sorting meets human biology. The goal isn't just to look good. It is to arrest the eye, bypass the brain's filters, and trigger a subconscious decision in milliseconds. To master this, we have to dismantle the mechanics of the click, piece by piece, starting with the technical foundation and moving into the psychology of the viewer. Part 1. The technical reality. Before we get creative, we must get technical. A thumbnail is a functional asset that has to load fast and look sharp. First, let's talk resolution. The official guidelines suggest 1280 by 720 pixels. That is the old standard. However, to future-proof our content for 4K TVs and high-density retina displays, we should be designing at 1920 by 1080 pixels. If we stick to the lower resolution, we risk our images looking blurry or pixelated when upscaled on a large living room screen. Second, we have to choose the right file format. Many creators use JPEGs because the files are small. The problem is that JPEGs use lossy compression, which creates visual noise or fuzziness around text and sharp edges. The better choice is PNG. This is a lossless format. It keeps text crisp and edges sharp, which is vital for readability. Finally, we must design for mobile. 70% of views happen on mobile devices, where a thumbnail is tiny, sometimes only 150 pixels wide. To ensure our design works, we use the glance test. We zoom out until the image is the size of a postage stamp. If we can't instantly identify the subject and read the text, the design has failed. We need bold shapes and high contrast, not subtle details. Part 2. The neuroscience of attention. Once the image is technically sound, we have to understand how the human brain processes it. We are dealing with two specific systems. The first is bottom-up processing. This is our primitive reptilian brain. It reacts automatically to physical triggers like bright colors, high contrast, and motion. It happens before we even know we are looking at something. The second is top-down processing. This is the conscious brain searching for relevance. It scans for specific keywords or icons that match what the viewer is looking for, like how to fix a flat tire. The best thumbnails use bright colors to grab the primitive brain, then clear text to satisfy the conscious brain. To keep the brain happy, we follow the three-element rule. Our working memory has limits. If a thumbnail is too cluttered, the brain ignores it to save energy. We should limit our design to three distinct parts: the subject, usually a face, the context, a simple background, and the hook, short text or a graphic. Part 3. The curiosity gap. How do we make someone actually click? We use a curiosity gap. This is a psychological trigger where we show the viewer that they are missing a piece of information. The brain hates this feeling of deprivation and craves the resolution. We can create this gap by showing an unresolved action, like someone reacting to a blurred object. Or we can present an impossible scenario that defies logic. The viewer clicks to close the gap and get the dopamine reward of knowing the answer. Part 4. Color strategy. Color is functional, not just decorative. The YouTube interface is mostly white or dark gray. If we use those same colors for our background, we blend in. We become camouflage. To stand out, we need high luminance colors that contrast with the app itself. Yellow, lime green, and bright orange are the most effective at seizing attention. Beyond visibility, colors map to emotions. Red signals urgency or danger, great for high-stakes challenges. Blue signals trust and logic, ideal for tech reviews or finance. Yellow signals optimism and high energy. In 2025, we are also seeing a trend toward clubroom contrast, using deep blacks and golds to signal luxury and premium quality, rather than just shouting with neon colors. Part 5. The power of the face. Our brains have a specific region dedicated solely to recognizing faces. This makes the human face the most powerful hook we have. Data shows that thumbnails with faces get significantly more clicks. For years, the standard was the soy face, mouth open, eyes wide, feigning shock. But audiences are getting tired of this. The trend is shifting. While shock still works for some, we are seeing success with negative valence. This means expressions of struggle, worry, or confusion. A face that implies a problem can actually drive more clicks than a happy one. This implies a conflict that needs resolving. We also use the eyes as a tool. Direct eye contact builds a connection with the viewer. Alternatively, a directional gaze, looking at something else in the frame, acts like a laser pointer, guiding the viewer's eyes exactly where we want them to go. Part 6. Typographic engineering. Text on a thumbnail is different from the title. The title is for the search algorithm. The thumbnail text is for speed. We must follow the physics of legibility. We use sans serif fonts, bold, blocky letters without decorative feet. Complex scripts become unreadable on mobile screens. We also need to be concise. The rule is 4 to 5 words, maximum. Even better is 1 to 3 punchy words like stop or the truth. Crucially, we must avoid redundancy. Never just repeat the video title in the thumbnail. That wastes space. Instead, use complementary text. If the title is How to Bake a Cake, the thumbnail text should be No Eggs Needed. This adds new information and deepens the curiosity gap. Part 7. Composition and geometry. How we arrange these elements dictates how the eye moves. We use the rule of thirds, placing our main subject not in the dead center, but off to the side, on the intersection points of a grid. This creates a more dynamic, energetic image. We also need negative space. This is empty space around the subject. By leaving part of the frame clear, we give the viewer's eye a place to rest, preventing them from feeling overwhelmed by clutter. Finally, we use vectors. These are directional cues like arrows. It sounds cliché, but a red arrow works because it forces the eye to follow a specific path to the focal point. Part 8. The aesthetic shift. Visual trends are moving targets. For the last few years, we lived in the era of oversaturated colors, airbrushed skin, and chaotic energy. But viewers are developing fatigue. The new trend for 2025 is authenticity. We are seeing a pivot toward lo-fi aesthetics, natural lighting, genuine expressions, and less overprocessing. Simplicity is becoming the new way to stand out against the noise. Part 9. Testing and data. Finally, we move from art to science. We no longer have to guess what works. We use A/B testing. YouTube is rolling out a test and compare tool. This lets us upload up to 3 variations. But here is the critical insight. YouTube doesn't just look at who clicked. It looks at watch time share. If a clickbait thumbnail gets a lot of clicks, but people leave immediately because they felt tricked, that thumbnail fails. The algorithm prefers a thumbnail that might get fewer clicks, but leads to longer watch time. It wants honest promises. The perfect thumbnail doesn't exist in a vacuum. It is a moving target that balances technical compliance with psychological triggers. In 2025, the winning strategy shifts away from hyper-produced noise toward clarity and authenticity. We capture attention with contrast and curiosity, but we keep attention by being honest. The thumbnail is a promise. If we engineer it correctly, we don't just get a view, we start a relationship.